Host online. Agent down.
Yo, hello everybody, welcome back. I appreciate you click on this video once again. I do appreciate a lot. So there is this build that I've been holding on to for a while because I was working on it, right? Because there is a meta out there, or there was a meta out there about the foam kim launcher, which is annoying. That pushed me away a little bit of PvP. It's just annoying once you get formed, because that's not really much of a skill type of PvP. But anyways, moving on, I'm not going to talk about that. But so I did make something that counters that, right? You can counter the sticky foam, you can counter the fire, the bleed, whatever status effect this build has it, because we have 100% hazard protection. Now on top of that, there is this weapon that's been, I guess, the meta right now because it's so strong. It's the SMG called the Lady Death. With this weapon you can put so much damage, you can melt players so fast, and if played on the right builds with the right talents, this weapon can achieve an insane amount of damage. So this weapon actually, I feel like it surpassed what the house used to be on Division 1, because it was also an SMG on Division 1, but the Lady Death is just have too much damage. As of right now, I don't see, for close range, there's nothing that can beat it unless you have a bad aim. But with that said, I'm gonna show you guys the build, and you guys can give me your opinion, what you guys think of the Lady Death. Is it too strong? Is it the best SMG? Is there any weapon that can counter it? Because the Lady Death, I think it's really good at close range, but on the long range, it's not that great. So let me know all of that in the comment section below. So let's get into the build. So the build itself, this is gonna be the build. It's gonna be consistent from the Lady Death. This is my primary weapon, and we have a bunch of damage stuff in here. Now the armor, we only have 900 armor. Right from the bat, I'm gonna tell you guys, you should at least go with at least 2 or 3 core attribute armor. I know I don't have that, but I will explain why, because it's tough to find that type of stuff for this build. So I would recommend more armor, especially on this meta, but right now I only have 900. It does work for me, but mostly on the group. Solo it's gonna be tough, so go with at least 3 core attribute armor on this build. The next thing before we move on, the specialization we're gonna be using is gonna be the firewall. Now I'm gonna tell you straight away, the reason why I'm using the firewall, because it's the best. It's the cheesiest, but it's the best specialization when it comes to PvP. So 2 reasons. One is going to be the Med Kit. Armor Kit recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds, so that's really good. And also we have this one right here, which is on armor break, apply burn to enemies within 5 meters. That's enough to throw off your enemies and maybe come up on top and win that fight, and that happens a lot. Now going back to the build, so let's first talk about the weapon of the show, right? Our primary weapon, which is the Lady Death. So Lady Death is an exotic SMG. The core attribute is going to be SMG damage, critical chance, of course, and an attribute on this one is going to be damage to armor, which is good for PvP. Now the talent, you guys should know this, but I'm just going to read through it. So when moving, gain 4 stacks per second, or 8 stacks if sprinting, up to 32 stacks total, right? Each round fired consumes a stack, amplifying damage by 75%. So that 75% is a lot of damage that you're going to be outputting out of those 32 stacks. But that's the Lady Death. It's very good, it's very strong, and it's what a lot of people are using right now. My secondary doesn't really matter. I just have an AR in here for those long range, but you go with whatever you want. Now moving down for the build, so let's start off with the mask. On the mask we have a Walker, Harris, and Cole. By equipping one we get 5% weapon damage, and then the core attribute we have in here weapon damage, and then attribute we have 10% hazard protection, which what I recommend, right? There's gonna be a hazard protection build, and then 12% critical damage and 6% critical chance on the mod. Honestly, in here you could go with another Circle of Concern to give you a 15% critical damage on this mask instead of the Walkers and Harris. Honestly, that would be good, but 5% also weapon damage is not bad. I would just say on the SMG build, 15% critical damage wouldn't be bad if you can get a mask with the same stuff in here from this mask that we have right here. Moving for the backpack, we have a Grupo Sombra. Grupo Sombra is very good for this build because by equipping one we get 15% critical hit damage. That's what we need for the SMG build, right? So core attribute is going to be weapon damage, attribute 12% critical damage and 10% hazard protection. Now in here on the mods we have 12% skill haste. The reason why is because Grupo Sombra on the backpack, chest piece, and then the mask, they come with a yellow mod slot. So unfortunately right now we have that because I had to change the talent of the backpack for adrenaline. We're gonna be talking about in a second. The next patch on Title Update 11, the mod slot supposed to change for generic, which means you can put either yellow mods or blue mods or red mods, whatever you want. And you don't have to stack with whatever that brand set has, right? So that's good for the next patch. For the talent we have one of the new talents of the game, which is Adrenaline Rush. A very used talent and very good talent because we're gonna need this to activate another talent on the chest piece. So whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times, so you can get up to 60% bonus armor with this build, right? So and that's why I say you should go with at least 3 core attribute armor, 2 or 3, right, just to get more armor out of this talent right here and to help you out a lot more. But in my case I don't have those pieces yet. Now speaking of that talent, right, why we need that talent is because moving for the chest piece we have this talent right here, Intimidated. We're gonna be talking about that, but on this chest piece we have a Circle of Concern. By equipping one you get 10% SMG damage. The core attribute is gonna be weapon damage. Right here we only have 11%, not too bad, but attribute is gonna be critical damage and critical chance. The mod slot we have 11.7% critical hit damage. Now moving for the most important part of this chest piece, it's gonna be the talent Intimidated. While you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. So we have the Adrenaline Rush doing that work for us. And also the thing about SMG, you gotta get close, right? You gotta get in their face, especially with the Lady Death. So you're gonna be having to be at least 10 meters and 35% amplified damage. That's one of the most the highest damage that you can get on the talent on the chest piece. It's very good talent and it hits hard. A lot of people use it. I have it on other builds as SMG, right? So moving for the next stuff, we have a Chaska gloves, and we're gonna have 2 Chaska on this build. By having 2 Chaska, the first bonus is gonna be 10% critical chance, and then the second bonus is what we need for this build, 10% hazard protection, right? So the core attribute is going to be weapon damage, attributes 9.5% hazard protection and 12% critical hit damage, right? The second chest is going to be on the holster. We have core attribute weapon damage, attribute critical chance, and hazard protection max, which is 10%. So we need that. We are already stacking a lot of hazard protection throughout this build. So last but not least, we have a Yell gear. So Yell gears is a gear that only drops on the dark zone. We have core attribute armor. That's the only one that we have armor. Like I said, go with more armor. I keep saying that, but yeah, attribute is going to be critical hit damage, and second one is going to be hazard protection, which is what we need for this build. With all that said, on this build you see we have a lot of hazard protection. That's going to give us a total of 79.5% hazard protection, right? And you might ask, well, you said 100%, right? Yes, we're going to have 100% once we use our skill. So let me explain that. So hazard protection is going to be all of that, you know, 79% for everything. And then going to our skill, we have the booster hive. Now the booster hive it got a little bit of a change. So now the booster hive, the way it works is the booster hive delivers a stimulant to nearby allies that increase their weapon handling, hazard protection, and melee damage, right? So the buff is gonna be 21.7%, so that's gonna cap our hazard protection because it gives us hazard protection. So we have 79 plus 21, that's gonna be a total of 100%. So we are 100% most of the time as long as we have the booster hive out there. So that's why we have the booster hive. That's the most important skill of this build, because to get that 100% hazard protection. Now the second skill, I do have a shield here because, you know, most people, that's what they use right now to kind of give you an edge on your armor, kind of to help you on that PvP scenario, right? So whatever you want to go in here, I would recommend going with the striker ballistic shield, but that's up to you. Now going for the stats to finish off this video, on my Lady Death I have 57.5% critical hit chance and 134% critical hit damage, and the reason why we have only 134 is because we have a lot of hazard protection throughout the build, and if we didn't have that, we could put more critical hit damage, right, throughout the build. So that's why we have that, but that still hits hard. It's still a great build and it works really well against those status effect out there. But yeah guys, that's the build. That's what I had for you guys. I had this build saved for a while because I was not really playing PvP, but this is what I use when I'm going for PvP, try PvP, if I go against the foam and all of the status effect and blah blah blah. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this build is good? What would you guys change on the build? Let me know all of that in the comment section below. Give me your opinion, and yeah, I appreciate you guys' support. If you enjoyed the video, hit me with a like, I would appreciate. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.